Hi, this is Matt from Theater and Stream, and this is another Minisode. I was inspired to take on today's topic from a recent trip I made to my local Best Buy. As a movie fan, visiting a Best Buy in the 2000s and then well into the 2010s was a compulsory experience. It was a place for browsing, where you could kill a spare hour that you had and then walk out having spent $30 that you never plan on spending just because you found something cool. Unfortunately, visiting a Best Buy in 2024 is more akin to like the appliance section of a Home Depot. Late last year, the store, along with Target and Walmart, announced that they would be phasing out physical media, and this included movies and CDs for the most part. And it was on this recent trip that I made about 2 weeks ago that I learned that they had put these plans into motion. Best Buy's movie section, it used to comprise like 3 or 4 25-foot shelves, really long, but it's now been reduced to a couple of cardboard temporary end caps. I don't know about you, but to me it sort of feels like we're losing all of these stores that were once made for browsing. And what I mean by that is this. A modern Best Buy is now mostly big ticket items, things like TVs, appliances, computers, cell phones, things that cost multiple hundreds of dollars. I don't go into a store to browse their selection of dishwashers just on a whim and then, drop $500. I do some research, look around at the prices, walk into the store with a very laser-focused view on that big item that I'm gonna buy. And that's kind of the biggest buzzkill here to me, is that we're losing all these stores made for browsing, the stores made for small incidental purchases that you didn't plan on making. Being out amongst people with similar interests in a semi-social environment, I want you to look at these brick-and-mortar stores no longer carrying physical media, like that small domino, big domino picture that you sometimes see online. Physical media going away is most certainly the small domino in this picture. But what is the big domino? I'll tell you what I think it is. It's the closure of bookstores like Barnes & Noble or even your local favorite independent shop. It's the closure of comic book and board game stores that have communal play spaces. It's the shuttering of GameStop and other independent retro video game stores. And it's eventually the closure of city-owned libraries, that free, indispensable resource that most people take for granted, but it's always kind of been there in the background should you ever need it. But why would it exist if there was no longer any physical media or books to stock the shelves with? I'll tell you what a trip to the library will be like in the year 2030. It's going to be the completely soulless experience of going on your iPad app for your local library and selecting the ebook that you want to borrow, only to discover that all copies have somehow been checked out, despite an ebook being a limitless resource. And perhaps, that's a good point to transition to the digital side of things. You may be saying, Matt, I don't give a rat's ass about physical media. I will take the convenience of a digital movie collection every day of the week. Well, you should know this. Your digital collection isn't safe either. First of all, you need to understand that when you buy a digital movie, you are paying for a license to view that movie for an indeterminate amount of time that is revocable at any time. Take, for example, last month, customers who had bought WB, that's Warner Brothers and Discovery shows on Sony PlayStation devices, were told without cause that their collections were going away and they would no longer be downloadable or accessible. Or perhaps take the instance in 2019 when the preeminent digital copy service Ultraviolet announced that they were closing up shop and its customers had but a few months to transfer their movie collections to other digital services or they would be lost forever. You don't and you have never owned your digital movies. At best, a digital movie should be treated as a supplement to your physical movie collection, that nice little bonus that you get when you make a disc purchase. Now let's take this one step further. Perhaps you're somebody who's saying, I don't even care about owning movies at all. If there's a movie I want to watch, I will just sub to whatever service has that movie. Well, I've got some bad news for you there too. Streaming has basically become this game of hot potato where, in an effort to maximize profits, studios are basically renting out their biggest series and movies. It used to be the case that you could stream certain movies on certain streaming services and you would sort of have faith that they would always be there. There are just certain franchises that you associate with certain companies. Take, for example, Harry Potter. Those movies are quintessential Warner Brothers movies. You may even remember how each of the Harry Potter films had a different WB logo at the beginning. Well, the Harry Potter movies are no longer available to watch on Max, which is WB's streaming service. You must sub to Peacock in order to watch them. And then 3 months from now, they're going to be on Netflix, and then a year from now, they'll probably be back on Max. And of course, I don't know any of this for sure, because it is impossible to tell where your favorite movies are going to go next, because the studios don't warn us of these licensing agreements beforehand. They just kind of happen. And this sort of issue, it reached a fever pitch earlier this month when Paramount Plus, which bills itself as the home for Star Trek, not only licensed 10 Star Trek films to Max, but they also removed them completely from Paramount Plus. And naturally, this kind of set the Trekkies into a fit, but the films still remain solely on Max. So what do we do to combat this? Unfortunately, I think we've sort of already lost. The masses are willing to trade ownership and their rights as consumers for convenience, but I do think we can slow this down. The obvious answer here is to buy physical goods over their digital counterparts. And why would you not want to? There are many, many advantages to physical media that I don't even really have time to delve into in this video. The very fact that you actually own something tangible that you can hold in your hands, the special features on the discs, the cool collector's editions, not having to rely on an internet connection, and just getting the best possible home presentation for the film that you're watching. Even something as small as getting different pieces of artwork on different editions of the same movie, it's really cool. I don't know if you've ever browsed the digital storefront on Google Play or iTunes, but it's all the exact same, like, shittily cropped movie poster with slightly offset text that some intern in Palo Alto was paid pennies on the dollar to Photoshop together. If I had any sort of recommendation, otherwise, it would be to support these smaller labels, because if there is going to be a future in disc-based media, it's going to be with these companies. Arrow Video, Kino Lorber, Shout Factory, Criterion, Janus Films, they pay studios for the rights to basically produce a small run of discs for a certain film. They remaster it, they fill it full of a bunch of cool special features, and then they create really cool packaging. And they clearly put a lot of care into the process. If you want a place to start, let me tell you that the day after this Minisode releases, there's a pretty neat Conan the Barbarian set that's releasing from Arrow Video. And I'm not saying that you should buy this, but you should probably buy this. But anyway, that's it for me this week. If you've made it this far, let me know in the comments what Blu-ray or 4K releases you're looking forward to this year. I'm always on the lookout for new, cool editions of movies. Otherwise, Chuck and I will be back next Monday with a Feeder and Stream podcast, episode 37. Thanks for watching.